Okay, so TNA's next pay-per-view, Against All Odds 2012, is going to be this Sunday. So let's run down the card a little bit and give a little bit of predictions, despite how blind the predictions are, because I don't watch Impact, and I'm pretty sure that you guys don't either, because it's Impact. But matches we got on the card for right now, at the very least, uh, Jesse Sorensen versus Zema Ion for number one contendership of the X Division title. I don't know really necessarily what feud details they have going on right now, but I would have to say that Jesse Sorensen probably wins it because he seems to be one of the guys that they're pushing in the company.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't see Sema winning. Jesse, I believe. I don't really watch TNA either, but I believe he's the face in that feud, and he seems to be a guy that they're behind and pushing. And not to mention, when we get to the X Division title match, we kind of have a heel champion who probably needs some new fodder coming off this pay-per-view. So yeah, I'd say Jesse Sorensen to become the number one contender to the X Division title against all odds.
I'm just gonna back what you two guys said. I don't know either of these dudes, and my prediction is this will be the part of the show where I'm searching for a link online to find one, and I won't be successful enough to catch that match. So that's my prediction.
All right, well, you can run through the predictions of what you'll be doing at the time instead of doing the pay-per-view. That's what.
You got it.
Gunner versus Garett Bischoff. Gunner's been winning a lot of his matches on pay-per-views and everything like that, but I got a feeling that Garett's going to win this just because the whole Eric Bischoff and Garett Bischoff thing, and I can see them kind of doing one of those things where Garett wins this match and then they continue the feud with Gunner as like a transitional feud until they have an actual match with Eric Bischoff against Garett, and I'm not really interested in seeing it, but well, it's in front of us, so gotta predict it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say Garrett. He seems to be benefiting from nepotism since like late last year. I thought they were finished with that. I didn't think he was even on TNA television anymore. And now he's booked in a pay-per-view match. Lovely, fun. Yeah, Garrett will probably win. Cool. Woohoo! Let's move on to something that doesn't involve Eric Bischoff's kids.
At this point in the night, I will most likely finally find a link that connects me to the show and decide that I have to go drop a deuce. And as I drop that deuce, Garett Bischoff will win. So it'll be a simultaneous shit storm at the same time.
Couldn't agree with that analysis more. Apparently, at least he knows a DDT and maybe a drop kick.
Which says
Yeah.
more than some of the people
Yep, so does my bell.
in both companies.
Yeah, so, hey, at least he knows a few moves.
I
Yeah.
hope Eric Bischoff yells at me for that comparison.
Even if
Well,
he only has
10% don't
two.
count. Then we have Gail Kim defending her Knockouts championship against Tara, who just turned 41. Congrats, Tara. Does not look 41.
Still hot.
Give her credit for that. Um, I kind of think Tara's gonna win it. I don't know. Something weird about it.
I think Gail Kim's going to retain in this match. I don't see her losing the title.
At this point of the night, I'll be done with my douche and actually watching the pay per view because, unfortunately, here in Chicago, I don't have that interactive TV like most hotels, so I'm going to need a form of porn, and I'm guess that's going to have to do for the night.
So you're talking about the tag match that comes up right afterward, right?
I assume I'll finish during that, but with Tara, I'm going to go with Tara winning just because I always had a crush on her.
Aw.
I like cougars. I like cougars.
Duh.
Cut the deuce up.
So we have Crimson and Matt Morgan defending their tag titles against Samoa Joe and Magnus once again. Crimson and Matt Morgan are winning this.
Crimson and Morgan. Yay.
At this point, I'll be cleaning my hands, so Crimson.
It's a good thing Mike isn't here. He'll be having a field day with these.
Yeah, this is probably a major throwaway match. Wasn't it a throwaway match last month, too, at the last pay-per-view?
Yeah, it was kind of used as one of their bathroom breaks, kind of. Well, TNA
Yes.
doesn't really have a bathroom break. They have more like a vomit break.
Well, other than their
Explosive
main
diarrhea.
events, it's like basically like half the show's a bathroom break most of the time, so
Yeah.
It's that moment where you're on the toilet and you have explosive diarrhea and have to throw up at the same time. So you're like switching back and forth. That's TNA. You don't know which one's worse.
Then we have AJ Styles versus Kazarian. I have no clue what this feud is. I tried to look up like some information about it before we did the show, and apparently it still has Daniels involved, and I don't know, but it's kind of hard not to go with AJ Styles whenever he's in a match, unless it's the very beginning of a feud or something. So I gotta pick AJ.
Have no idea what's going on between these two. I don't really know what they're feuding over. I don't really know who's going to win. It's kind of a random pay-per-view match. I'll just go with Styles. What the hell?
At this point, I will turn the computer on mute and turn on The Walking Dead on AMC for all of you that are out there that like The Walking Dead. That returns this Sunday. Watch that instead of TNA. And I'll look back at the computer and be like, oh my god, it's over, and not look up the results. So I'm going to go with a no contest.
It's a no contest. If you don't see it, it doesn't happen.
Exactly.
It follows peekaboo rules for little kids. Austin Aries defends his X Division title against Alex Shelley. Austin Aries.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a great match, but definitely Aries is retaining. I don't see Shelley winning this thing at all.
This may be the only time TNA hooks my attention, and if the link hasn't faded out by then, I'll watch the match and pull for Alex Shelley because I like him.
I like Shelley, but he doesn't seem to really be doing that much. So I can't see them giving him the title.
But it's TNA, and they never make sense.
Very true.
Alex
Very
Shelley
true.
will win.
So that means Chris Sabin wins the title. And
Oh no!
He converts it back into the global championship. And
goes to India.
Right, yeah, and wrestles with Ring Ka King.
Hashtag completely blowing your mind.
And then we have the main event of the night, which I have a feeling is going to suck. So when I give my review, if it sucked, I say I called it. Bobby Roode versus James Storm versus Jeff Hardy versus Bully Ray for the TNA Championship. And I would not be surprised if somebody won here and they did the kind of crap where it's like, oh, well, Bobby Roode is complaining that he didn't get pinned or something like that. But gun to my head, I have to go with Bobby Roode still winning the match in some kind of way, because I think that they're kind of building towards James Storm taking the title from him, not Jeff Hardy. And the only other possibility I can think of is if James Storm is going to start a feud with Bully Ray, and then I think Jeff Hardy may beat Bobby Roode in this, and then they can have a rematch at the next pay-per-view where Bully Ray can face James Storm in a singles match, Roode can get his rematch clause against Jeff Hardy, and then they can throw some other random matches on the card and have fun with that nonsense. But overall, I think I gotta pick Bobby Roode, but I'm not a whole lot confident about that.
This seems to be the only match that's, just the people involved, it kind of has my attention. I mean, Roode's been doing pretty good as the champion. Bully Ray has surprisingly been an interesting heel over the past year. James Storm still has beef with Roode. Jeff Hardy, is apparently his newest rival. Don't know how that started, but I digress. But I see Roode retaining here. Like, it seems kind of random to have him the title taken off him at against all odds. Like, you think they'd save that for like Lockdown or something, but I wouldn't put past them to have like Jeff Hardy have a surprise victory or some sort of swerve where the title does change when you're least expecting it. Don't put it past TNA; they'll do that. So, but I'll stick with Roode retaining.
At this point, I have clearly turned off the pay-per-view, and I think the only winner in this will be the U.S. Department of Health because it's a PSA for liver disease. You've got Beer Money Inc. in there. You've got Bully Ray, who's probably doing painkillers, and Jeff Hardy, the drug addict. It clearly goes to show that if you do drugs, you will end up in a shitty-ass company main eventing it. So the U.S. Department of Health wins this match.
So that about does it for the TNA predictions, and that actually wraps us up for episode 15. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
I guess I'll just, since in closing, I'll just plug my YouTube page, which is www.youtube.com/spoodbeast, spelled SPOODBEEST. That youtube.com/spoodbeast. I wish everybody else to have a good week and watching wrestling next week too. Hope for no shit. Hopefully. So.
From my end, I'd like to make the official announcement that I am running for president of the United States. And you could check out daceforpresident.com. It'll be up and running very soon. And November, when you go out to the polls, don't vote Republican, don't vote Democrat, vote American, and vote Chris Dace.
This has been a Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out. See you next time, folks.
Outro. It's time to go. It's time to go. Beg and plead like a hoe. Need to get down on my knees and blow. It's time to go. Say goodbye to the good old ways. My pushing coming back. I'm watching my future fade. It's time to go. It's time to end the show with an outro.
Nice.